So I did a thing. I bought one of these, the $6,000 Cube camera from RED that came out about a year ago. It started landing in people's homes and Pelican cases around then, and I've been oogling it since. But I have plenty of capable cameras. There's been a new camera that's been announced by RED since this one was announced and started shipping. So why did I get a RED Komodo in 2021? I'm gonna try to answer that question. Wow, that looks great. Do you think you could put this to some like electronic beats? That would be so fun. But maybe after that or like now, we could just get to the talking parts. Okay, great. It makes for a fair question. Why did you get a RED Komodo now? This list could be long for some people or short for others. As someone who is way too excited to make a proper video out of my unboxing, I officially own a RED camera. I definitely fall into that first category of having a list of reasons that is way too long, but in a good way, for getting this little camera somewhere over here. Let's just get into my reasons for picking up this camera in 2021 for a gross amount of money. It feels, it hurts, $6,000. Number one, most important, image quality. It has its own look, obviously. It's called color science, and RED's color science is why a lot of people use it today. It is no longer the only option for affordable raw images, but it is the one that first came onto the scene, and it has a bit of a long-standing reputation for being an alternative in indie cinema. I can't make a video saying RED this many times in it and not feature some sweet clips. Love those sweet, sweet video clips. Being able to record in 6K future-proofs my workflow as well. I think for most people that are convinced to get a RED, however that may happen, image quality is really high up on the list. Whether it's from the movies you've seen shot on these cameras, other projects shot here on YouTube, and seeing all the cool custom builds that directors get to have, yeah, I want one of those. Don't lie, you would take a Bayhem or a Xenomorph immediately. Number two, brand name. Let's get this out of the way. I'm not saying I got this camera based on what I think of this brand name. I'm saying I got this camera based on what the industry thinks of this brand name. I have long been a believer that cameras are just tools, and you'll hear it from everyone on YouTube these days saying, cameras are just tools, gear doesn't matter. You don't have to spend money to get a good product. But those people are not taking into account the external factors, the external pressures of what type of gear people that are paying for your services want to see on set. If the lighting is good, if the sound is good, if the story is good, and there's a little bit of shadows in the blacks, 99% of viewers are going to click that next episode at the end of the first episode because they didn't notice and they don't care. But your producer and your director at the beginning, they care. I care. Yeah, I definitely care. I'm not always the viewer. We're not always the viewer. Take a look at these charts. Yes, Blackmagic is on there and RE dominates the Oscars. But look at what camera in 2018 and 2019, outside of the obvious, very expensive, super high-end cinema cameras, takes up a bulk of the recording. These are the brands production companies and producers take seriously and rely on. So sure, the latest from Zcam or Panasonic might pop up here and there, but the majority of industry professionals don't take those cameras seriously. My goal is to get more work directing and in a cinematographer position, not convince untechnical people that they have outdated opinions on cameras. RED is a known name, one producers, clients, and artists trust and believe in, and trust in you because you have one. It's this whole thing that I'm not here to debate if that's good or bad. I'm here to get those jobs. A few times I've been passed over and just told, we went with someone else who has a RED. Now, maybe their work was better, I don't know that. But part of my motivation for getting this was to eliminate that barrier to entry. Number three, form factor. Majority of the time when you're hired, camera rentals are involved. So in one way or another, I've worked with pretty much every major camera system out there. But what I actually use in my own personal life up until now has mostly been Blackmagic cameras. Starting back with the 2.5K that's up here somewhere, and now I've moved on to the 6K Pro, which I like plenty. But somewhere between that first camera and now, I no longer like how it handles, physically in the hands. Not the menus, not the buttons, how it holds. Cube cameras are just much easier to rig out. I don't want to see any more rigs that have handles outside of the existing handle in the camera because the handle on the camera doesn't have the right functionality to be usable, so you have to add another one. And now everything's super unbalanced to one side. I don't want to be involved in that. Starting with a cube lets you have so much more creativity and just workability in how you rig up the camera. It's been really welcome, and I don't see myself going back to a non-cube anytime soon. The menu screen on the top is actually super useful. Some people get devoted monitors that have RED control in them, but I found it's been really easy to look down at the top of the camera, change what you want to change. And it has physical buttons, and these hands, they get really cold way too easily. So having physical buttons on top of the camera guarantees that I won't have to sadly take off one glove and then touch a touchscreen and then put on my glove again for my hand to stay cold the entire rest of the shoot day. I don't want to have that ever again. There are so many ways to rig out this cube camera. I do have a different video on my minimalist setup, and I'm working on a video, maybe it's out by now, of all the various ways I set up my RED Komodo and how I switch between them on a shoot quickly. I do want to know your reasons for getting a RED, so maybe put those in the comments below and I can add more to my list. Reason number 4, ready for it, I wanted to. Wait, is that a non-technical reason? Yes it is. I wanted it. I liked how the footage looked. I've wanted a RED camera since I owned any other camera. It feels like a big moment, a big accomplishment, because I've been able to work, save money to be able to afford this camera and justify getting it to continue to level up my productions. It's not the last camera, although I do say that after every new camera purchase, but it is the one that feels the most momentous to date, just as the one before it did and the one before that did. I wanted it, so I got it. I was really excited when I got it. If you were to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that I can have a larger community share in these fun moments and conversations, I'd really appreciate that. The goal is to get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year, and with mere weeks left, I need some luck in the algorithm and some help from you, my returning single-digit percentage viewers, to share this video and see if we can get more eyes on it. Number 5, a challenge. I wanted a camera that I had to study to master. Something going into the winter I was really looking forward to. I want to get better at making light ideal, not just working with what I have. I want to get better at learning exposure and goalposts and all these things that are a little more technical that comes with having a RED camera that works with RED Code RAW versus what I've been doing in the past. I'm not saying I'm suddenly becoming a professional by getting the most expensive camera. It's just a larger learning curve, and I embrace that. I want to get up that proverbial mountain. And now there's a number of these popping up on the used market because I think this is more camera than most people need. This was definitely more camera than I needed when I took it out of the box, in the sense of it was a lot to unpack. Not physically, there's only like 2 things in the box, but in terms of how it works, it was a lot to unpack and learn. But that means there are a lot of these more available now. I did wait 22 weeks from ordering the camera to getting it. You don't have to do that. I don't have any affiliate links. These are all being resold through private sales. But if you were to buy a camera with my affiliate link, wow, I would be very honored. And while those are the main reasons I got it, there are plenty of other ones, along with plenty of negatives or cons. The price, $6,000, no internal NDs being 2 that come to mind. Back when I first started drooling over REDs, they were between $30,000 and $50,000 just for the brain. And there are models that still cost that much, but now there's an affordable way to get into the RED ecosystem and take that step towards leveling up. You don't need to get a RED to be a good filmmaker. I'm not saying that, but every channel will tell you that. I'm saying I wanted a RED, and it makes me feel excited to use it as a filmmaking tool. There's no reason to undersell having a good time using gear you like to use. Many of us are technical and tinkerers. It's nice to use things that you want to learn how to use and get better with and master. This camera feels like a new box of Legos that I can make something out of each and every time. And yeah, there's still the expensive version of REDs. Do I want the V Raptor? Oh yeah, I really want it. But surprise, I don't have 25 grand to burn. Maybe if we added a 0 behind that sub count, they'd just send me 1. Let me try it, test it. You can help me get to that goal. There's plenty of features that camera has, this camera doesn't. But it doesn't mean I'm any less excited in getting to use this camera. I am equally as excited and nervous and just intrigued as when I clicked order 20-something weeks ago. Thanks for watching this one. If you came from the days of me reviewing Fuji gear and talking about Blackmagic cameras, don't worry. I am still going to cover every type of camera that I have any interest in, which is pretty much every camera. But for a month or so, there's going to be a lot of RED videos. Thanks for watching. I'm off walking. Sweet, right? Oh,
Yeah.
that looks super cool.